Now we got two top 10 showdowns, Shay. So let's get into it. Number 6, Alabama at number 10, LSU. The Crimson Tide favored by 13.5 points on the road. 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN. Over under 56.5 total points. Alabama won last season 20-14 in Tuscaloosa. They lead the all-time series 55-26 with 5 ties, and they're 29-9 in Baton Rouge. Who do you got winning a ball game?
This is going to be a hell of a game, and unfortunately, because of the Tennessee-Georgia matchup, I think it's getting overlooked a little bit. A lot of folks are talking about it, but it's a pivotal matchup, brother. It's deciding the West, in my opinion. I think the winner of this game is going to represent the SEC West. Now calm down, Ole Miss. You still have your chance, but I feel like the trajectory, that's where we're at. Coach Kelly and company are doing a lot better than we thought they would at this point in the season. And you got Alabama, struggling a little bit. They didn't play well against Texas A&M. They didn't play well against Texas. They got beat by Tennessee. It's so funny that when Alabama loses, it's a bad Alabama team all of a sudden. It's like, well, they're not as good as they're supposed to be. Well, what does that mean? Just because they struggled? This team has persevered and has gone through a lot. I mean, they had a quarterback out for a whole game. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of those SEC teams in the top 5 that have had a quarterback out for the entire game. So I think what they've been able to do and the roster moves that they've been able to make. This Alabama team is really starting to flex and starting to look like Alabama. They got that running game going. The defense is starting to get their shit together. I think this is a Nick Saban led team. I mean, they're going to win some games, but there's a lot of momentum at the LSU, and it's down. You got Death Valley, got at night. I mean, it's a perfect storm, and I just don't think you're going to overlook LSU though. I really don't. I think Nick Saban, this game's personal to him. I mean, hell, he even talked about it at this dinner. He's got a whole week to think about it. He's had a whole week to prep for it. This is going to make and break the West. So, without further ado, Mike, I think LSU makes this competitive at the start. But Alabama does what Alabama does, and they just pull away and doesn't become a ball game. So give me Alabama winning this one, 42, LSU 24.
Oh,
I think it's tight. I think it's a one-score game at half, but Nick Saban comes out and it just beats the brakes off of them in the second half. That's what I think happens.
Now, one thing I didn't hear you say there, Shane, I mean, you did reference the home crowd and everything, but Alabama, aside from maybe that Arkansas game, which was tight there after Bryce went down for a little bit, they have struggled at times on the road with discipline, with penalties, with turnovers. They do that type of stuff in Death Valley. They're in big, big, big trouble in this matchup. I do think I don't know if it hurt LSU. That might be the wrong word, but they were so hot going into the bye. It may hurt them to have taken a week off. I think they would have preferred to play Alabama last week, if they're being honest. Of course, I think this crowd can will them to victory if they can get to Bryce Young, which I think they can. Alabama, both these offensive lines, Shane, I think are going to be at a big disadvantage in this matchup. But I think if you're Alabama, like I was saying with my prize pick selections, you got to keep Jaden Daniels in the pocket, make him beat you with his arm. They've got the receivers to get that done, but I don't know if they've got the quarterback that is going to outduel Bryce Young. I mean, you could keep Bryce Young in the pocket. Good luck, brother. You know what I mean? So, back and forth style game. I see what you're saying. I like you have to give Bryce Young a major advantage. I mean, he may be the best. I don't think he's going to win the Heisman again, but he may be the most outstanding player. I mean, even when he's banged up, he's incredible, So I just can't pick against Alabama to win this game, but I do think it's going to be closer than you think. I think it's going to be lower scoring because I got a ton of faith in defensive coordinator Matt House. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in the SEC. They've already announced, Shane, they're going to allow B.J. Ojulari and Harold Perkins on the field at the same time to just kind of unleash them on Bryce Young. That is a matchup that heavily favors LSU with that Alabama offensive line. So I think it's just going to be a much, much tighter ball game. Alabama, they just always seem to pull this damn rabbit out of their hat in Death Valley. I think they do it one more time. Give me Alabama 30, LSU 24. So we're talking a one-score game. I mean, even LSU may have the last chance to win this ball game. I think we're talking that tight of a game.
And I definitely could see that, Mike. I know the LSU fans probably mad that I've picked this, but I think you hit the nail on the head. The bye week was pivotal for Alabama. That's just another week. I mean, they were kind of limping into this thing, and having that extra week, I think, was at a perfect time and just a good reflection moment too for them to. Hey, what are we? Is this a team that's going to make a run? And I think that's what we're going to see. I don't know. I just they haven't won down there. I mean, they haven't lost in a decade down there. So I'm not convinced that this is the year that they do. Right. Don't get me wrong. LSU is, again, they're a great team, top 10 program, all for it. But, Bama is a tall glass of water, man. And I just don't think that Kelly's ready for it.
Right. And you know how confident I am in this pick, Shane?
How confident?
I forgot to mention a wager of the week, LSU and the 13.5 at home. This is why you mentioned Brian Kelly. This is why he's down here, Shane, to kill the Nick Saban dynasty. Maybe they get it done on Saturday. For their sake, I hope they do.
What if they do? What if they lose this game? Seriously, what if LSU wins this?
Nick Saban's going to be golfing a lot more than he currently does. Let me put it that way.
Oh, man. No college football playoff, no SEC championship. Yeah. What is it? Let me just, devil's advocate, I know you want to move on, but if this game was decided and LSU wins, what would have to happen for them to beat Alabama this weekend?
I mean, I think Bryce Young would have to be off his game a little bit. Again, see the undisciplined, the penalties, things like that on the road. That crowd has got to be the difference because even I think the most diehard LSU fan would tell you Alabama's got a better team. Now, I'm not saying significantly better. Hell, I think Alabama, you could argue, has got a better team in Tennessee, but Tennessee got it done. So that is not the end-all, be-all. I think you've got to commit to the ground game. You got to be able to run the ball on Alabama like Tennessee did. It's not like Tennessee ran wild, but they did it enough to keep them pass rushers off the field, keep their quarterback healthy, keep him upright. I think that'll be paramount. And these receivers got to take over, kind of like that's what you got to do to this defense, Shane. And the same deal with Kirby's defense and all this. These receivers have got to play big-time ball. LSU's got the weapons to get it done. This is the recipe for an upset. No, I can't believe you think it's going to be a blowout. How dare you? How dare you?
I just wanted to get you fired up, Mike. I love it.
All right, game of the week, Shane.